Max Ralph, it was an interesting night when Kaytron Allen became the program's all-time leading rusher, and it's a pretty extensive list of running backs he climbed over that are elite. But really, kind of think the story is the interim head coach, Terry Smith. That's how you know it's an interesting night. Just because, number one, the way this team has responded to his tough coaching during his 5-game run, especially the last 2 weeks. They look like the team that finished last year and almost made it to the final. But also, Max, he is very comfortable in his skin right now as a head coach. And he kind of let us all know it, that he's always been ready to be a head coach. He wants to be the head coach. A lot of Penn State former players want to be the head coach. Current players want to be the head coach. So I think that's kind of the story.
Yeah, tonight was the night that Terry Smith and everybody around him made their official pitch for him to be the next head coach at Penn State.
There's like 9,000 people in the interview room, and they're all
cheering for him up in the recruiting lounge. It was a scene like I haven't really seen before here, and I've been on the beat for 5 years. On the field after the game, I believe they came from the stands. Somebody printed them out and brought them.
Yeah.
There were papers that said, "Hire Terry Smith," and the players are sprinting around the field showing these off. Every camera that they could find, they're shoving them in their faces. And like King Mac, for one, was running in front of the Nebraska sideline and showing this thing off. The guys want to play for him. And we heard from a couple of players, like, yeah, it would definitely impact my decision on potentially staying if Terry Smith was still here. We heard from, I talked to Dom DeLuca, and he gave me maybe my favorite quote of the night.
Dom DeLuca did?
Yeah.
Now that is interesting.
Because as to your point, they're playing like the team it used to be. Yeah. And he said, Terry put the broken pieces back together. That was what he said. And it's absolutely the truth. This has been an impressive effort, but Pat Kraft's going to have his work cut out for him over the next few weeks.
Max, I think the players also were very much aware that when James Franklin was dismissed, there was a very popular name to replace him, Matt Rule. And I think the players knew, and they wanted to kind of make a statement that, this is what Terry Smith did for us, and we just put it on Matt Rule's team. That was kind of the guy that I think maybe, was on Pat Kraft's radar. I'm not sure, but I think they were very motivated to show what Terry Smith could do against a guy that was viewed as a potential candidate.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And just to your point earlier, like Terry Smith was very pointed in everything he said after the game. Very, as you said, very comfortable in his own skin. He says, I'm a leader of men. I was a head coach for 12 years in high school. It's a different level now, but coaching is coaching. I took a program that couldn't put cornerbacks into the NFL and started putting cornerbacks in the NFL. I know how to coach. He planted his flag, man. Like if he had one in that Beaver Stadium media room, he's planting that flag. And the reception from this stadium, I mean, they're chanting Terry, Terry as he goes off the field. This was quite a scene.
Before we get to Kaytron, the one more thing I wanted to follow up with, that's something Terry talked about, something the players talked about, is Terry has no problem calling them out.
No.
And it's the best players on the team. There's been some clips about some of his locker room speeches that are quite fiery, but all the players acknowledge it. Like, he's not just saying that. He calls everyone out, and they find it refreshing because no one is above criticism. It's all for one for all, and they know that if a star player isn't playing well, Terry's going to handle it.
Yeah.
Now he's done it in a short time, but he's also been regarded by James Franklin as a truth teller in the building. So this is nothing new.
Nope.
It's refreshing to hear, and I think that is one of the biggest differences. Is he's gotten after them. Clearly. We just heard James Franklin down at Virginia Tech talk about him being a player's coach. This guy's a player's coach, but he was also, I'll get after you player's coach.
Yes.
And I think that's very important.
Yeah, Terry Smith has a different kind of blue-collar, like nitty-gritty.
I'll equip him, man.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
He's a Western PA guy, and it shows. Like, he is what this program was for such a long time, beyond just being a captain here. Zane Durant talked about it, too. He said, look, we might have let the expectations earlier in this season get to us, and Terry, turned us around. I think it was last week or maybe during this past week. We talked to Anthony Donko, and he said, Terry puts us up and puts our offensive line film in front of the whole offense and calls us out when something goes right and when something goes wrong. And he said they sometimes did that before he took over, but now it's like every day that they're having team-wide film sessions. And I mean, it shows. Like a guy like Denai Dennis Sutton, Zane Durant, Nick
The
Singleton.
whole offensive line talked about it too. They were embracing getting yelled at because it's made them better.
Yeah, and that was my point, is that all these guys in the past 3 weeks, from the Indiana game to the Michigan State win to this Nebraska win, they are playing like the team that we thought was maybe going to win a national title this year. And I loved Terry's quote. He said, "We look like a real football team." He's right, but it was pretty funny to think about a team that was number 2 in the preseason had to come to this.
You know what, Max? I think I've learned something from Terry. When I head back, I'm going to ride home with Joe Herman, our photographer, and I'm going to start yelling at him, tough love him, to make him better.
Yeah.
And Joe, you're recording this right now. You're in a lot of trouble on the ride home, but it's only because I love you. Anyway, Kaytron Allen, record-setting night. He needed 139 yards. Nebraska knew he needed 139 yards, and he got a 50-yard run on the first drive. And once that happened, it was only a matter of time when he was going to get the record. A huge achievement, especially since kind of a slow start as they were mired early in the season. But just a special back, a very unique runner. He's got a lot of pride. His teammates wanted to get him the record, but I just think that of all the people in this 2022 class, regardless of his talent, there's no one quite like Kaytron Allen. A unique interview, always has a smile on his face, very deserving of probably the most prestigious record you can have at Penn State.
Oh, easily, because if you think about the guys that he passed, I mean, Evan Royster had the record, who had a great 4 years, but Saquon Barkley, Kurt Warner, Kijana Carter, like there are so many NFL names that were on that list that he had to bypass to get there. Just an incredible effort, and genuinely one of the most fun guys to cover that there's been on this team in quite some time. Like his passion for football bleeds through every single interview that he has. He's also grown up a ton. Like during his freshman year, his interviews, just simply put, were not great. I mean, he was falling on like a lot of crutch phrases and everything, and now you get thoughtful answers out of him. Just an impressive football player who really deserved this honor tonight in front of a great senior day crowd.
Max, based on these last 2 games where they just thumped, like Michigan State almost beat Iowa. Like we were like, oh, it was Michigan State. Well, Michigan State actually was not that bad. 28-10. This game was a wrap, I think, by about halftime. I don't feel very good for Rutgers.
No.
Based upon what I've seen. I'm sure they're gonna it's their senior day. They're gonna be playing hard too, but
it's a battle for bowl eligibility.
I kind of feel like Rutgers is getting Penn State at the absolute worst time they could possibly get them this year.
This team looks like the team that we thought they could be. And like I said,
explosive plays in the passing game.
A point. Ethan Grunkemeyer completed 11 of 12 passes to 6 different receivers, and 5 of those guys had a reception of 20 or more yards. Like the efficiency was unbelievable. They're playing hard. Rutgers absolutely is getting them at the wrong time. Look, maybe they'll play hard because they both want to get into a bowl game, but I made my prediction after the Indiana game.
You did.
And it looks pretty good right now.
Quit humble bragging. Time's up, Max. We got to go. So when you start humble bragging, it's time for us to get the hell out of here.
I was just making a point that they're playing hard right now.